Okay, we are still solving quadratic equations. This time we're going to use the quadratic formula. Now we're assuming we've got a quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If that is the form of the equation that we have, where we've got an x squared term, we have an x term, and a constant, and we can identify the coefficients of x squared and the x, and we can plug them in to find solutions. And the solutions are x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c, and then that's all over 2 times a. So let's apply that to this quadratic equation. X squared equals negative 6x plus 16. All right, now remember, we really do have to have this form, which we don't. So our first step is going to be to rewrite this so that it is in that form, and we can pick out the right values for a, b, and c. So we got to add 6x to both sides, subtract 16, and then that's going to leave us 0 on the right. So now we can use the formula. So if it's helpful, you can write down what a and b and c are. And in this case, a is 1. The coefficient in front of x squared is 1. b is a negative 6, and c is 16. So we use those to plug in, and this is going to give us the solutions. So x is equal to negative 6, so it's going to be plus 6, plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 16, all over 2 times a, which is 1. Okay, so let's go through and just do the arithmetic to get the solution. So 6 plus or minus negative 6 squared is a positive 36, and then negative 4 times negative 16 is plus 64 all over 2. So we've got 6 plus or minus. We add 36 and 64, we get 100. All right, then square root of 100 is 10. So we get 6 plus or minus 10 over 2. All right, so we get two different solutions here. We're going to have 6 plus 10 over 2. So that's 16 over 2, which is 8. So there's one solution. And then we've got the negative case, 6 minus 10 over 2. So negative 4 over 2, we get negative 2 for our second solution. All right, next example, you can identify a, b, and c. So a is the leading coefficient of 3. B is the coefficient on the x term, which is a negative 1. And c is the constant term, which is a negative 4. All right, plugging those in to get the solution. X equals a negative b, so a negative negative 1, so positive 1, plus or minus 1 squared, negative 1 squared, which is 1, and then minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is a negative 4, all over 2 times a, so 2 times 3. So we have x equals 1 plus or minus. Under the square root, we've got 1, and then minus 4 times minus 4 is a 16, times 3 is 48. So 1 plus 48 underneath the square root, all over 2 times 3, which is 6. So 1 plus square root of 49, all over 6. So we have x equals 1 plus or minus 7 all over 6. All right, so we're kind of used to this now. We know that's actually two solutions, so 1 plus 7 over 6, so we get 8/6 or 4/3. We reduce it, and x equals 1 minus 7 over 6, or negative 6 over 6, so negative 1. All right, and there are two solutions.